Hi everyone, welcome back to Simply Word. My name is Lel Kuyo. Today we're talking about patience. We've all heard the phrase, patience is a virtue. Well, patience is also a fruit of the Holy Spirit. There's love, joy, peace, patience. I went to the Bible to look for an example of a person who showed great patience in his situation. And I went and found the story of Abraham, Father Abraham, the father of many nations. And Abraham's story basically is from Genesis, from chapter 11 all through, I think, chapter 15 or 17, or past that. But we're going to focus on chapter 12 and chapter 15, right? So Genesis chapter 11 verse 2, this is where God tells Abraham that's going to be the father of many nations. So verse 2 says, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you, I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing, right? So God tells Abraham, a very old man, that is going to be the father of many nations. And Abram, at this time he was still called Abram. So he said to the Lord, you have given me no child, so a servant in my household will be my heir. In verse 4, then the word of the Lord came to him, this man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir. And he took him outside and said, look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. And Abraham believed the Lord, and credited to him as righteousness. Chapter 17, verse 15 to 16. God said to Abraham, as for Sarai your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai, her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be a mother of nations, kings of peoples will come from her. So God gives Abraham this elaborate promise. Abraham and Sarah are very, very old. Sarah is actually beyond her years for giving birth, but God tells them that you will have a son. Abraham and Sarah, at some point, they lost track of this whole process and why God takes a long time to answer and to give you the blessing. What did they do? Sarah offered her maidservant to Abraham, Hagar. So she said, well, take my maidservant and spend some time with her and she will bear you a son. And it actually happened. Hagar got pregnant and she gave birth to Ishmael. But God came back and said, no, the one whom Sarah will deliver, that will be your heir. That will be the blessing of the many nations. And in my opinion, because Abraham waited so long and Sarah waited so long and Isaac was born, their faith in God became so huge that when God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, he was willing to do it. That's how huge his faith in God had grown. So that when God is asking you to sacrifice this big thing in your life, you will be willing to actually sacrifice because your faith grew in that waiting period. And you see, the sacrifice, Abraham sacrificing Isaac, was not just for Abraham and for him to show his faith. It was for us to begin to see the promise of the Messiah's sacrifice and how deep and heavy it was for God as the Father, just like Abraham was, to sacrifice his only son for us. So what did Abraham do? Abraham continued to obey God. God told him to circumcise the men and the babies and the male members of his community, but God asked him to do it, and he did. So we see Abraham still obeying God, still being a righteous man. He's not spending his every day waiting for this son to be born to him. He's actually doing other things. So what is God trying to do in this time? And I picked actually two specific things that I believe, actually three specific things that I believe God does in your season of wait. Number one, first and foremost, he's building your faith in him. Yeah? Because every day you're going to go before him and pray. That alone, that time spent with him, praying, reading God's word, reading about people whose prayers were answered, builds your faith and builds your fellowship with God. And so basically you become so close to God because you're spending so much time with Him. The second thing that happens is that your trust in God becomes bigger. So you have this enormous trust in Him because you know that it's only God who can give you this thing that you're asking for. So you trust Him, basically. And the third thing that God is doing in your life is that He's actually humbling you. Because more often than not, we find that when we want something and we get it right away, we credit it to ourselves. We forget the humility of depending on this great God who actually owns everything that we have here on earth. Let me know what you're struggling with in terms of your waiting season in the comments below, so we can actually pray together. And I will pray with you. I will pray for you. So let me know, comment in the section below, let me know what you're struggling with. So I'll see you in my next video.